it's a science. It properly posting a Facebook advert is a science. Tell you, it took me ages to figure out the last two.
This is A Band's Life, a video podcast where musicians share their experiences so we can all better navigate the music industry. We talk about jobs and touring, relationships and social media.
I'm always looking for new bands that are willing to share their stories. What they're doing well, what they're doing not so well. So if you know any bands that you think have it locked down, send me their info and we can see if we can get them on. Last week, I was introduced to a band called Pray Drive. They're a relatively new band on an indie label called Crod. And what really caught my eye was how well they were doing on Spotify. Before we start the interview, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and other podcasting apps. And don't forget we also have a video version on YouTube. But without further ado, Pray Drive. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun. That's pretty cool. So it's 7:30 by you guys, right? I mean, I just woke up like an hour ago, so.
Yeah, we're about to go to bed.
Yeah. Nice. Well, this is awesome. Thank you guys for doing this. I mean, it's great to be able to do this with a UK band too, so we get a little bit more, you know, especially for around the world. I saw a lot of people actually who had watched the last podcast were not from the US, so that's kind of cool.
Cool.
Go ahead and introduce you guys, names and your band and whatnot.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Steve. I play guitar and do some backing vocals. And collectively, we are Pray Drive.
I'm Brad. I sing. That's bad.
He's chatty.
I'm Paul. I play bass.
I'm Christian. I play drums.
Cool. It's nice we can get all you guys together too. That's awesome.
Yeah, Christian's moved down to London now, so he's all like cool and stuff.
Yeah,
so we're stuck in our little city of Norwich, and Christian's now in the capital. So you know,
I miss Norwich.
How far away are you guys from each other?
It's only a couple of hours.
Oh, that's still a couple hours is kind of far. A couple hours of here.
Yeah, probably break up in a month or so, you know. We'll see how we go.
Nice. So let's go ahead and get started. When did you guys start as a band?
When did we start? 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah, not long. Probably about 2 years ago, properly.
Yeah.
Me and Brad used to be in a band together, and then that ended quite a while ago. But then I started demoing some stuff a couple of years ago. I thought I'll get Brad in on these. Got Brad in on these, sounded really cool. Then Christian and Paul come as a pair. If one of them's in a band, the other one's in a band. So through a friend, recommended getting in touch with them, and I'd never really met them before, so I reached out to them via Facebook or whatnot and just said.
Yeah, we'd seen each other around from Norwich like for about 10 years, but never actually spoken to each other. Just know people through other bands and stuff like that. But
had a couple of practices. All worked out really quickly and easily. And because I had like an EP written already anyway, so they just kind of learned it, and then we went from there.
So you had a lot of stuff already written, and then the guys kind of came in to fill, and then moved on from there.
Yeah, so I guess like the first EP was a bit maybe restrictive for them because I'd kind of written it and had that in my head, like this is how it goes. But
yeah, I think we weren't, when me and Steve wrote those 4 songs, it wasn't to start a band necessarily. We were just working together and writing songs, and then we had like Steve had the music to them and I wrote all the lyrics and vocals, and then once we had them we were like, yeah, we should do something with this. And then that's when we formed the band after that.
So so you had the band before this. Did you have any other bands before that? Any of you guys?
Oh yeah, we've all been in loads of bands.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've noticed that you guys have been doing pretty well on Spotify. I don't know, you guys, is that a big one out there by you, or is it Deezer, or what is for listening?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Spotify has been really good for us.
Yeah.
Through our label, mainly through Crod.
Since we hooked up with Crod, that's when we started getting more streams and more exposure.
Got us on some amazing editorial playlists, like really big with like 280 odd thousand followers per thing, and our little name just pops up, and it's like, okay, next to these big bands, and that's really cool. And it's happening on Deezer, I think, as well, and Apple as well. Some of the Apple Music or whatever that is now, I have no idea. He's getting us on these playlists.
I think we just got Deezer. I could be wrong, but apparently you guys have had that for a while.
Yeah,
it's been a thing for a while. I've never used it though.
I have Deezer. Yeah, I use Deezer. It's okay. There's not as much sort of smallest bands as on Deezer as they are on Spotify, but it's getting there. It's growing, but it's nice to be included. You know,
I said, like, you guys have been fairly, especially if it's just through the label or whatever else, or Spotify alone. You guys have been promoted pretty well on that. I saw. You guys, how'd you guys promote when you were at the beginning, or in maybe in other bands? Like, have you made any mistakes or anything that you think like might have been like?
It was just really DIY before. We had a very narrow reach before because we had no contacts. We didn't know how to push ourselves. We only knew how to be a band, but not how to get any exposure whatsoever. That's the tricky thing.
And everyone's in a band as well.
Yeah, so. There's so much music. I don't know.
Making people listen to the hard part, but kind of getting on those playlists is a big help because it just exposes you to new people.
I guess since we released the last 2 music videos, they've had a lot more exposure as well, which has helped with the playlists.
But yeah, it is really difficult just in general.
Yeah, we haven't got an answer for you there, I'm afraid.
We've made many mistakes.
Yeah,
and we still will. But it's part of the fun, isn't it? You know, we're only a little, small band from Norwich, England. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah, I find it that most bands they're obviously really good at writing the music, but actually getting the marketing down or getting the promotion down is always the one that they're having a problem with. And a lot of times it's maybe even just misinformation that they've heard from other people or picked up on the internet or whatnot. But you seem to you guys seem to be doing really well.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, well,
that's good.
It looks like we're doing it well. Jordan, the label manager's doing something right, not us. But yeah,
that was a good deal.
Full credit for that. Yeah, he's been really good. So we give him thanks for that.
We just talked about how you had kind of come from more of being we're just being the band kind of deal. Have you guys considered yourself more of a business in the past or currently?
No, I don't think we've ever got into music to make money because that would be the most stupidest business decision to make ever.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like it's business because we are always talking about money.
Yeah.
Especially with the latest release, we funded it mostly ourselves, not all of it, but most of it. So there has been a lot of chats about money, and it's horrible. Yeah. It really sucks, but we want to do it. It's kind of what we love to do. But
it's kind of a necessary evil.
Yeah, it comes down to it a lot of it. It makes the world go round. People say it doesn't, but it does. But yeah.
When I grew up, I listened to a lot of San Francisco East Bay punk rock. Like Green Day was part of that when they were a lot younger, and a bunch of stuff like that. Mr. T Experience and all that kind of stuff. And when I remember like being younger and that stuff kind of influenced the punk rock genre to where like, if you had anything to do with money, you were like almost shunned. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for a lot of bands to see themselves as a business, even though that's pretty much exactly what they're doing, because it also deals with art. You know, you guys got your art, and you're like, I don't want to have to deal with that kind of stuff. You know, that's gonna bring me down, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys, okay, sorry. You said you guys had gotten together. Do you have like any strategy meetings that you ever talk about just for doing anything like that?
Yeah, Christian's head of that.
Yeah?
We leave the strategy. You're in charge of that, aren't you, Christian? Like,
strategy?
Making sure we're on target and doing what we need to do.
About as far as, having a break at band practice and talking about it goes, yeah.
Yeah, we're probably pretty lax on actually organising
the
stuff.
5 minutes breaks in between practices.
Yeah.
we generally
post a message in today.
You're trying to get it in when you can.
Yeah.
Brad, talk.
We generally do it all at band practice, unless it's something specific, like music video meet-up to discuss ideas. But I don't know, We're pretty lax, but we're not like lazy about it. We know what needs talking about, and we'll discuss what needs doing. Yeah,
we get things done, don't we?
We do. I mean, Steve's the most organised person out of us, and he's pretty good at that. So, he's the best person to talk about it.
Jeez. No, it's alright. It's just I'm fairly organised. I quite like doing it, and I know how there's loads of opportunities out there for small bands, but you just kind of have to just keep chipping away at them and getting them. And I know it's possible, like certain things. So I just keep trying to do stuff, keep us busy, keep us ticking over, but keep us trying to play shows, keep us trying to record things, keep us trying to write things, keep us trying to, whatever.
Yeah, we just need something to focus on all the time.
Yeah.
To have like a goal to work towards, because if you don't have anything to aim towards, then you get lazy.
Yeah, and it all just becomes boring. Like band practices are boring if you've got nothing to practice for. Like, so it's nice to have a show to come up to rehearse for and things like that. So yeah, just keeping little targets on the horizon. Say like, the album's out in like a month or something. So that's like the next target. Once that's out, it's
full steam ahead.
Full steam ahead.
How long have you guys been preparing for that?
Ooh, we started recording it in January.
Okay.
And then we finished recording it about a month ago. It took quite a while to finish, but
we were writing for about a year, weren't we?
Yeah, well, we were writing as soon as we released the old EP. We had new songs already, so it was but it took a while to come into fruition and actually get the 10 songs that we thought were going to be an album. And
well, I was conscious about forcing vocals and stuff. I didn't want to rush things, so it kind of held it back a bit, but I'm glad it did, because I think we're happy with the outcome.
Yeah.
That's probably the thing you don't want to rush the most. Like, I'll tend to, because I'm a producer too, and I'll tend to like do a lot of things in bulk, to where I'll do, okay, all the drums will be done on one day or something if you can. But vocals, I'll be like, hey, we'll spend like one a week if we need to. Like just one a week, and it'll take a couple hours, and I don't want to overtax, because that's where you get the most emotion out of anything, and I don't want to touch that at all. The drummer, I'll be like, man, play it again.
Yeah, well, Christian was like on death's door when we recorded the drums, bless him.
Yeah.
He was really ill. He's had like some sort of, I don't know. Christian, what did you have?
Some kind of chest infection and reaction to that, and I didn't know what it was at the time, so I just kept powering through, hoping for the best, and then I got home, and they basically told me I should have been in hospital, but...
Well, I'm glad you're still here.
The drums sound good, so every cloud.
Definitely get that emotion through the jump.
But as for like instruments though, like guitars and bass was done by March, because I finished the guitars when I got snowed in the start of March. I couldn't.
That was good. That was good. You got snowed in.
Yeah,
that worked out.
I couldn't go to work for 2 days. I got snowed in because I used to live out in the countryside, and I just stayed at home and added loads of extra guitars to the songs, stuff that I'd never written. But then subsequently they sounded completely different and hopefully a little bit better than they had. So then I finished it, and then it was like vocals just then steadily came over the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And that was that.
You guys self-record, or do you have a producer? Or
we did drums and bass and guitars, rhythm guitars, at a studio about a couple hours away. But we weren't really produced. We kind of,
They kind of just put mics on the kit.
Yeah, it was just engineered. But it sounds good. But it would be nice to work with a producer at some point. But I mean, it always comes down to money.
We've always done home recordings with Steve. Steve has his studio here.
That's good.
But we did the EP. The first EP was all Steve. But then, we wanted to record somewhere else to do the album, but we still produced it ourselves. I guess.
It was self-produced completely.
And we still did all keyboards and vocals and little bits.
Guitars, all here.
Here with Steve as well. So we finished it off here, where it's safe.
I think we did intend to finish in the studio, didn't we? But I think if we would have carried on that way, we would have probably still been recording.
We would have still been getting mixed as well.
So it was good to sort of take out. So Steve's our producer. He did it all.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that we do all that ourselves as well. I like that we can things and
it's just more control.
we can call
it would be nice to see what other people would suggest, but I do like having control and creativity and freedom.
We did have a good friend actually come in and mix it as well.
Yeah.
To give it a bit of a different sort of
angle
as well.
different directions again, which is cool. Rounded it off nicely. And then it was mastered in the States by John McCleary at Nada. But he did pretty much all the drive-through bands and My Chemical Romance and stuff like that. But his early catalogue is amazing. Like pretty much every band you grew up listening to and stuff.
Yeah. As well, a lot when I talk to bands, I'll be like, okay, who do you want to get? Do you want to get mastered by someone else? Normally, I'd rather have it because it's that extra set of ears, to where you're like, okay, I'll mix it, but like, you need to have somebody else on this just so, like, in case I'm, I have some kind of thing I'm missing somewhere, you can correct that little bit. And so I'll be like, hey, who did you like? And a lot of them don't realize you can just call them up most of the time, Like when I was younger, I used to like. I actually got to meet Jerry Finn, which is one of my favorite producers. And
no way!
Yeah,
that's cool.
And when I came out to LA, I think in 2008, I worked at the same studio that he was working at the time. I think he was doing Morrissey, and he was super nice guy. I mean, like probably one of the nicest guys that I have met in LA since. Like not many people rival him. And
such a shame what happened to him.
Oh yeah, he passed away like I think a month and a half after I met him. So it was just
really,
I was like, oh dang, this dude was like my hero. And most of the time when you meet your hero, it's like you're like, oh, that guy. Like afterwards, like, he was like even better than I thought he'd be. Like, so it's crazy. I think back then I tried to get a hold of him because like, and I was like, I don't know, I was probably 20. I was like, maybe I could be his assistant or something, But you couldn't get a hold of people back then. And nowadays, you could practically open up whatever album that you like and be like, hey, who did this? You can actually get a hold of pretty much anyone that you liked. Like, in fact, on my Facebook page, I think I have like most of the producers and engineers that I've over the years grown up with that I liked. And you can be like, hey, could you mix this thing? And a lot of them are even cheaper than what they used to be because of the internet. But
I remember contacting loads of people back when I first started, just like messaging them saying, "Oh, like nerdy comments like, what mics did you use on the kick drum?" Like I really knew what I was on about at all, but I just thought I was cool. But sorry.
Did they get back to you?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of guys, I can't think of his name now. A guy produced a puzzle from Biffy Clyro. He was really friendly. A guy who recorded the Swellers as well, Ups and Downsides, and he got back to me as well. The other one was Vinny from Less Than Jake.
Oh, cool.
And Roger. They're both really good on emails, and I was speaking to them about mixing some stuff, but they were a bit too expensive at the time, but happy to talk to you and listen to stuff and things like that. And I was like, wow, these are bands I used to love growing up, and they're now emailing me. But yeah, that's cool. It's business for them, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with all this, but I think I was trying to get to like your process when you guys are recording. Like I was talking about the producers you were that you might work with, or so you guys do a lot of the stuff your own.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually found a lot of bands do that nowadays. I actually get more like, hey, will you mix this, rather than hey, let's record this kind of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I still
With the way technology is, it sounds really good nowadays.
Yeah, it's all good. I do prefer to have someone else record me though, because it's easier than doing that. But at the same time, we can save loads of money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
I'm all about the saving money.
Saving money we don't have.
Do you guys book your own shows, or does the label help you out?
We book our own shows. Yeah. The label hasn't helped so far. But I think they're not. I think if we ask them, they'll be willing to help us if they can.
Yeah.
But Steve booked a European tour that we did last year. Was it last year?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, this month.
Last September, yeah.
And we did a UK tour recently, which I just booked. And I just contacted another band and just sort of said, hey, do you want to do a tour?
Long.
And so then we both went off and they started contacting promoters, I started contacting promoters, and there we go. That's how we do it.
It'd be nice to have a booker, but it's so hard in England, well I guess anywhere, but to get someone to touch you, because you have to have a big following to guarantee like 500 people are going to come to a show, and it's like not yet. But
you guys get out of England at all?
Yeah, we will. So last year we went to Europe. We did Belgium, Holland, and Germany. And this November this year, we're going out to Holland again, the Netherlands, just for 3 shows over a weekend. And then next February, we're trying to go out for another tour. It's like the album tour, a few months late, so to speak. But and that'll probably be mostly Germany, because Germany is in Europe. Germany's got a really good scene for smaller sort of rock bands, and they like sort of English bands as well. Our label is German, so
How cool.
Hopefully there'll be some good shows to come from that.
Yeah, we want to do the States, but that needs to be very well planned, and we need to have some good funds behind us or something.
Yeah.
Would love to come out there. And actually, talking about Spotify plays, a lot of the listeners are actually from LA, Chicago, which is cool. So it'd be cool to come out to places like that. I don't know. Never been there.
No, I mean,
It's kind of crazy the way that it can work nowadays. Like, because when I was younger, obviously we didn't have the internet like this. Like, we had the internet, but it wasn't, it didn't have Spotify or even YouTube. So we're like, you looked on the back of CDs and you're like, all right, who's the people that they thanked? And then I looked for those bands. Like, I don't know how old you are. I'm freaking 36. So like, you'd be like, oh, they thanked this band. Well, I'll go look up this band or whatever and find them. But nowadays, you can just be like, click, 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 like bands like this, bands like that, and you could find some great bands, man?
I remember finding out about bands like Operation Ivy through the back of Rancid CDs or Green Day CDs as well, and all of that East Coast scene. It was really cool.
I think a lot of the punk rock stuff was like that, because I think they'd even send out like flyers and stuff that were like, here's our other stuff, and you'd be like, oh, I want that, Especially for all that, Lookout stuff,
So I think compilations back then helped a lot as well.
Yeah, compilations were huge.
Punkorama, that's that
was definitely huge in getting me to listen to newer bands. I think one of the only bands not from the States that I was into was, and I don't know if I'm even saying this right or not, is like Millencolin.
Millencolin, Swedish.
Yeah, they were great. Like, I remember loving that band. Like, well, they're from Sweden? What? Like, how do we even find them over here, Like, we'd know of like U2. That'd be it,
Yeah, there's a bit more to English bands now than U2.
Exactly.
They're shining light of British music. I don't like that. So, anyone like U2?
I like the old stuff, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No worries. We got the lag. It's hilarious. Okay, so when you're working with promoters, what do they lean on most of all? Do they lean on like social media numbers, like when they're wanting to work with you, or word of mouth?
What, UK promoters?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a funny one. All a lot of UK promoters.
To be honest, like the one that we did a week, and I probably emailed about 50 different promoters to get 7 dates.
Nice.
So like seven of them.
That's not bad though.
Well, I mean,
about 400 or 500 for Europe.
7 of them. 7 of them were like not money driven. They're like, hey, sure, we've got on a show.
Oh yeah.
And it's cool. We'll sort you out petrol money and give you some food. But the rest of them were like,
how many people can you bring to a show?
How many people can you bring, or just didn't even respond.
It's the weirdest thing is in England, like, you're expected to, if you drive all the way to Scotland or whatever, they're like, you'll get paid per person who comes to see you through the door. And it's like, well, we haven't got a fan base in Scotland, It's like, we want to play with bands who have got a fan base so we can just maybe earn some fans, get some fans. And that's so common throughout England. It's just impossible to get them to give you any money. Whereas you go to Europe, you kind of almost get offered like usually €100 and 2 meals and all the beer you can drink
and a
place to stay, and you'll sell loads of merch, and it's just like, how is this so different? That little channel of water in between England and France is just like the difference somehow. It's crazy, but I mean, I think it depends on probably your label as well and your stature of how you're seen in England. I don't know. It's a lot about sort of appearances, status, things like that. It's very cliquey, and there's little cliques of groups and things like that. But ultimately, it's quite difficult in England unless you've got a booking agent.
From what I've heard from artists out here, you don't get paid hardly ever, unless you're working some bigger shows. It's a lot of pay to play. Do you have that there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mostly in London.
Yeah, London is very guilty of that. Yeah.
You guys ever work with that, or you just shun it?
Well, we have done in the past as other bands, like younger bands and stuff, but now it's just like, oh no, you get sense in the email what they're angling at.
I think we're a lot older and wiser now. And
it's never sold as pay to play though.
No.
It's like,
I guess
you know, it's kind of like you'll get money for these amount of people if you bring people through the door, which is kind of a version of pay to play. So you're pushing their gig for them, which obviously, we'll promote our own gigs obviously, but as a promoter, some people, it gets to creating a Facebook group and that's where the promotion stops. It's like, no wonder there's 3 people here, you know.
I understand there needs to be some kind of like symbiotic relationship, but yeah, I've seen a lot of like, you know, they wanting you to just bring everything in, and then on top of it, you know, they're basically charging you to be here. And I think they've even started calling it, I think, pre-sale now. Like, oh, can you pre-sale, as opposed to like, you know, pay to play or whatever else. They're like, no.
Okay, that term hasn't come to England yet, but we'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Pre-sale tickets, It
is a shame that kind of thing exists, and there are a lot of them. But there are a lot of good promoters too who actually are doing it for music, and they will help you if they can.
That's good.
You just have to find them.
Yeah. We got a lot of shady people out here. But it's nice with the internet now, because like if you're part of any kind of groups, then you can be like, hey, don't deal with this guy or whatever, and that's actually helped quite a bit.
Yeah, you can kind of vet people a little bit, can't you? Sort of like suss them out a little bit.
Yeah, people definitely have their contacts and their lists, and they are shared, so people do know the bad ones and the good ones.
Yeah, hopefully. Unless there's a rogue bunch of people just sharing rogue lists of naughty people. You just don't know this idea.
Do you guys do any show swaps, like between other bands, to like do like mini tours or things like that?
That's exactly what the last UK tour was. That's exactly what we did. So they put us on where they're from, we put them on where we're from, and then we collectively went out and booked some other shows together. That's how we did it.
That seems a good way as well of getting out of town as well, by offering them a chance to come to our hometown as well, which is appealing for a lot of bands, because they don't want to play their hometown all the time. So we've not done a lot of it, but I think we're going to try to. Would
you say there's a lot of like camaraderie between like artists in the UK?
Kinda. I find England quite odd, because it almost feels quite competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, there is camaraderie. I'm not saying everyone's competitive, but it kind of feels like everyone's more out for themselves, which makes sense. But whereas you kind of go to Europe, though, I keep comparing to Europe, I know, but everyone helps you out. Everyone wants to help you out, even if they were just there watching. They're like, "Oh, do you have a place to stay?" And they just like offer you outright, sort of thing. Whereas in England, every band who comes over, they never have a place to stay, because everyone's too kind of a little bit stuck up to maybe help them out, or I don't know. It feels completely different. I find the two markets, but I mean,
I agree.
There is camaraderie within bands though, but I just nowhere near as much as from European bands.
Sounds like you guys should move there.
Yeah, maybe we should. take the hint I'm giving myself for the last 4 or 5 years. Just move to Germany. Maybe. And they all speak English as well, which is great, you know.
Yeah. Do you guys have, when you guys go over there, like, I don't know how it works, do you guys have any problems going from, like, country to country?
Yeah, I think for US bands it could be, or bands from outside of Europe, it could be difficult. And like I say, at the minute we have no problems, but we've got this lovely thing called Brexit, which is happening, kind of, maybe, or not. Who knows? Nobody knows. But, which could be, I don't think it'll make it difficult, it'll just make it more expensive. We'll just have to buy, like, visas for every country, which is annoying. But I don't think it's going to stop movement too much. Sorry, Christian.
At the moment, we can go between without any problem, can't we?
Yeah, we can get all the way down to, like, Turkey or whatever without showing a passport or whatever. But, yeah. I think the only problem, countries like Switzerland is quite difficult, because they have Switzerland is, like, not some part of the EU, whatever. But yeah, they sometimes, if they get wind of you being a band, you have to pay like a merch tax.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's I've heard bands have that, and it's, I don't know how you get around that or how it's calculated at all, but I've heard stories. But yeah, but for Germany, yeah, you're right. But you'll always get stopped by the police the French or the Dutch, so always because they see a big British van full of like 6 or 9 men, it looks a bit dodgy. And yeah, guarantee it. Every tour I've been on, I've been stopped by the police at least once every tour. Did we get stopped by the police?
I don't think we got
I
stopped.
don't think we did we?
Did we?
On the way home we did.
Did we?
Well, we got
we had to
by the police, but I don't think that was anything to do with us being a band. I think it was just a random check.
Yeah, random.
Out of Brussels.
I don't remember that.
Brussels. I can't remember that either.
Brussels.
Christian, you're thinking of the wrong tour, mate. I know what you're talking about. It wasn't that
I was
tour.
talking about Europe with Sonny, and
No, we didn't get
no,
stopped with Sonny.
I'm talking about when we drove home from Belgium.
What's he on about?
We got pulled over by the police on the way back.
That wasn't with Prey Drive, mate.
Yeah, it was. Sonny was driving.
Was it? I can't even remember.
I don't remember that.
With Max in the van, when we dropped Max off?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Paul was probably asleep.
There you go. I probably was asleep. Because I remember getting stopped on the other one. I thought that's what he was talking about. But,
Anyway,
no.
Anyway, that went off on the tangent.
we've collected our thoughts.
So, when did you guys, because I saw you had a manager, when did you guys get a manager?
Have we got a manager?
Have we? No.
No? Well, maybe I'm, I thought it was your website said you had a manager.
did it?
What did it say?
Yeah, who's it?
I can't remember, I have to look it up now.
You tell us.
I was all like, oh wow, they have a manager. When did they get that? So you guys don't have a manager?
No, we don't.
All right.
Yeah, I say Jordan at the label does a lot of stuff for us, but
Okay.
not really managing.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we're that busy yet.
I find a lot of artists will be like, I need a manager, and they don't realize, like, no, they don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, I think our manager, yeah, he'd get bored.
Mm-hmm. Like, unless you're doing, like, I was thinking, since you were, like, doing some pretty significant numbers, maybe you guys needed someone to deal with some of that, but the marketing or whatever.
That's Jordan. Jordan deals with all of that.
Yeah, he works for what does he work for?
I guess you could say he's kind of like a label manager. He does guide us on quite a few things.
Yeah.
And he does send a lot of stuff our way. So
And PR as well through Red Tape.
and he does our PR. So
Yeah. But he's a jack of all trades.
Do you guys do your own, like, graphic design?
Christian does.
Christian?
Yeah, I do most of it.
I usually find, like, one guy in the band will do it. Like, and oftentimes it's the drummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fitting that cliche Christian classic.
Yeah, being right.
I think we all collectively have an input, but Christian's the one who actually has the technology and puts it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do some of it. Some of it's just there, and some of it's provided. But tour posters and stuff, I'll do, and merch and things like that.
What about I watched the newest video there. Like, it looked really well. Did you guys do that yourselves, or did you hire someone else to do it?
We have a friend who does that. Yeah, he's done. How many videos have we got? 3. Yeah, he's done all 3. Yeah, I had to think then. He's done all 3. It's difficult sometimes with using friends because it's like mates rates, and you don't know where the line is sometimes of taking the mickey. You know. But they look great. They've come out really well.
Yeah.
They've been a bit stressful on relationships at times, but they turned out really well. Sorry?
In what way?
It's just, there's sometimes...
We all might have a different opinion on the...
just through communication, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, between each other, or between you guys and who's filming it?
Yeah.
More that.
The latter. Maybe,
unintentionally, there was never any bad blood, but I think things get misconstrued through messages and stuff. Yeah,
just you try and say something on the fly and it will come across as like you're ungrateful or whatever. It's just, social media and WhatsApp stuff is not the best way to communicate, but it's the easiest way by far and the quickest, but it's definitely not the best.
Yeah, I've often got that kind of feeling when I was getting like mixed notes or something from some band. I gotta tell myself like they're not trying to be jerks. They're not trying to be jerks. Like,
they're not saying you've mixed this shit. It's terrible. Start again. But I know what you mean. It can be like, how do I take this? Is this personal? Or,
Oh yeah,
But,
especially if it's like a big change. I'm sure like sometimes they'll be like, this whole thing needs to kind of be different, and be like, well, what needs to be different? And it's not always what they say it means. They're just feeling something weird. But yeah, I imagine like you guys being like, you got you guys and your artistic, what you want, and then you got obviously the film guy doing what he's artistically wanting, and I'm sure that could be.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we always try now and give as much detail at the start, like we've learned from previous, like we give as clear an outline as we possibly can of what we want, and then there's no surprises, because sometimes throwing in like a little surprise when it's being edited is not gratefully received. Let's put it that way. So yeah, as long as we have a clear plan, I think we'll be alright. But as I said, the video looks great, and that was a town on the coast here in England called Great Yarmouth. You can probably sue it under the Trade Description Act because it's not great. But
hey, that's my hometown.
But Brad is from there, and I grew up not far from there, and we just had a day out on the beach and just thought, yeah, this will do.
We acted like kids for the day, basically.
Yeah,
it's good fun.
Good fun.
Had a lot of sugar.
Yeah, had a lot of sugar.
Lots of sugar.
You guys have day jobs, obviously?
Yeah.
What do you guys do?
Oh, yeah. I work currently in IT, but my last day at my current job is Friday, and I'm returning to being a full-time student at the age of 33.
What are you getting into?
Environmental science. So yeah, that's going to be me for 2 years. I'll be pretty much a bum.
Nice.
I run a tea room.
So British.
We actually have one of those. We actually have one of those down by us, and my wife, who was like super interested in it, I was like, "What? What's that?"
Do they have like English tea and scones and stuff?
Yeah, it all looks like nice doilies and things.
Little doilies. Hello. You like Brad's place? Then?
Yeah.
What do you do, Paul?
I work in insurance.
Nice.
I'm like Chandler Bing of the band.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I also I DJ as well, so that sort of weighs it out. Makes life a bit more interesting.
I've just finished being a student at the age of 29, and I'm a graphic designer.
In the trendy city of London.
Yeah, it's not that trendy. No, it's just overpriced.
Christian loves London.
That's Los Angeles. Oh, gosh, moving. Because I'm outside Chicago originally, and then I moved to LA, and even Chicago, like I was far enough away to where it wasn't that expensive. It was actually pretty nice, but like, oh my gosh, moving to LA, like the rent and even like gas and food and anything else, like.
I'm feeling that now. It's not fun.
Yeah. Oh well. Norwich.
But I get enough time back in Norwich with these guys to keep it balanced, so it's good fun.
So you guys get along pretty well. You hang out.
Yeah, we love each other.
Yeah.
I just love that. Yeah, we love each other.
We tolerate each other.
But yeah, we do.
Yeah, we get along.
Yeah.
Do you guys have significant others, or I know some bands even like some guys even have kids and stuff. Are any of you guys married or?
I'm married. I got married in April.
Yeah.
But no kids. No kids yet.
No, none of us have kids.
No, we're all currently kidless. Is that a word? No.
Stay that way as long as you can.
One day. But Paul's going to get married one day.
Yeah, I'm engaged, but
Oh, cool.
I just bought a house, so I can't afford to get married now. So that's just going to happen for a while.
Yeah, I was engaged, but I'm not anymore.
Sorry. Sorry, just drop that clang.
If you get a chance to read the lyrics of half the album, you'll find out why. So
How do they take the whole music thing? I know I've had friends and people I worked with in the past where like they've maybe not been in some very good relationships, or maybe the band caused some tension between them. Are they supportive?
My wife is, very.
Yeah, my girlfriend.
Yeah,
Very supportive.
We've definitely got 4 fans at least. you know, from them. That's it. But yeah, I think I've been really lucky. Yeah, always like it's never an issue to go out and just randomly do stuff or to sit on my computer all evening sending out emails and stuff. It doesn't bother me really. You know.
I think this is the first time I've actually had a girlfriend that's supportive.
Yeah.
And actually been like, actually, you guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
Whereas before.
So you should just give that band up. You suck. But yeah, we're lucky, I think. And they all seem to come
It's been a problem in the past, a long time ago. When I was younger, I know it's been a problem, but nowadays it's fine.
My family in general, like when I was doing stuff outside Chicago, they were somewhat okay with it. But like when we moved out here to LA, they've been like kind of a pain. So like, how's friends and relatives with it? You know, like I know maybe that could probably get a little strained as well.
Most of my friends are kind of in bands or still doing something musically anyway. Although it kind of feels, yeah. I mean, we're all just doing it for fun mostly, you know, taking what opportunities we can and stuff. But I think you tell most people like who you work with, if you're in a band, they're like, "Oh, are you going to go on the X Factor?" You know, which is like Pop Idol or whatever. I don't know what they have in America, but
I think we have one here too. I think we get.
Yeah, they just assume that you're in a band, therefore you're going to be on, you know, in the charts, in the top, and things like that. It's like, no. And then you show them some of your music, and they're like, "Oh, do you do covers?" You know, no. But it's kind of it's almost like a weird thing for a lot of people. But I think it's because of our age.
It's naivety, isn't it? They haven't got a clue about the music industry or underground.
I guess they think you're either a pop star, massive, or that's it. That's the only level of music is massive.
They think music is just what's played on Radio 1. Like big,
And so to hear that some guy who works in IT plays guitar in a rock band and doesn't play Iron Maiden covers.
He's a rocker.
Yeah, it is weird. But
yeah, they don't have that on there very often.
I'd love to be in an Iron Maiden covers band, but I don't like Iron Maiden. So it's an irrelevant But one day. That's where the money's at now, though. Everyone's doing covers bands.
That or like a lot of horror artists are making quite a bit of money coming back, just touring.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing a 10-year anniversary tour of an album, aren't they?
A lot of them are doing albums, they'll be a full album, like from start to finish. In fact, to be honest, like we got free tickets to go see U2 last year, and they did the whole Joshua Tree album. So it's kind of like...
that's happening all over now. All like the bands I grew up listening to are now having their like 15, 20 year anniversary tours. Like, oh cool, I'm 15 again. You know, it's quite good, but at the same time, it's not good for new music. But
hits that nostalgia feeling. You guys keep up with social media?
We try to.
I think
that's something we could probably improve at. And it's due because we all have jobs. It's quite hard to like look after that side of it and think of good content.
Yeah, I hate it, and I never have anything to say, so I never think of anything to post. I think Paul's the one that tries to do it the most. 95%
of our posts are through Paul. It's a science. It properly posting a Facebook advert is a science. I tell you, it took me ages to figure out the last two. But seriously, it's really difficult now. You have to create the advert, the ad set, the ad itself. Well, whatever, and you spend, and it just doesn't get seen by that many people. We've been Prey Drive. We've got our debut album coming out on November 9th. It's called Once More With Feeling. It's available on vinyl, which we will ship to the States, and digital as well. You can pre-order it via our Bandcamp, things like that. No Big Cartel, that's the word. We've got some shows in the UK coming up soon, but never know, one day we might come to the States. Brad, over to you.
Thank you for having us. We have been Prey Drive. Paul?
A little plug, we are going to do another music video soon. We haven't got a date sorted yet, but we know which song. I'm not going to say which one yet, because that might change. But we are going to release another video soon.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah.
This year.
If you like the last one, make sure you keep looking out.
Yeah.
I asked Thibaut from Crod how he submits his artists to playlists. And he said that the main thing is not to target the big playlists on Spotify. A majority of the time they target the smaller playlists. If they're submitting a punk rock band, they also check for punk rock related playlists, like pop punk, skateboarding, and extreme sports. He said you really have to do some research on the smaller playlists, and if the music is really good, you'll have a really good response. So take what he says and apply it to many different aspects of your marketing strategies. It's not internet voodoo or even good connections. It's being inventive, thinking outside the box, and finding new unpaved roads to get your content out there. This is why I think it's really important to have regular band meetings, not just to talk about new music or writing new music, but also separate meetings to talk about your business aspect and the marketing. It'll actually save you time and help you to be a lot more productive online. I know marketing is a bad word in the music scene. It's how we get to the people who we think might like our music. Give us a like, share, subscribe, or a comment. If you know of bands you think are surviving the music industry, send them our way and we can see if we can get them on. Or if you have questions for bands for future interviews, drop them in the comments.